Hello everybody and welcome to my YouTube channel. Now the other day we got the wonderful news that Alyssa Edwards is collaborating with the beauty company Anastasia Beverly Hills. You may have heard of them, and they're coming out with this palette right here. And I saw this color story and I was so obsessed with it. It looks so beautiful. There's just so much going on in this palette. There are some neutrals in here. I don't think Anastasia Beverly Hills can release a palette without neutrals in it. Obviously, I mean, that's just my opinion, of course. You guys might disagree, but there are so many colorful shades in this palette. I do think from the bottom of my heart that this is probably the most colorful palette that Anastasia Beverly Hills has ever come out with, and I can definitely say that that is probably because of Alyssa Edwards. And I feel like Alyssa Edwards is just so colorful and just so bright. All her makeup looks are very vivid that she would come out with like a palette like this, and I'm very excited about this collaboration. I am just so in love with it, and I wanted to pull some colors and pull some possible duplicates from my collection and see what I could come up with. So yeah, this is the finished look, but if you want to see how I created it, and or if you want to see the shades that I pulled from my collection that I think are quite similar to the shades in this palette, then of course keep on watching. I'm definitely going to focus on the brights in this palette. I did not really want to take any inspiration from like the neutrals, of which there are several in this palette, but I will be discussing this palette at length in my future Will I Buy It for this next week. But today I want to focus on basically taking certain elements of this palette, thinking about my own collection, and thinking about how I can create a look inspired by the color scheme in this palette using shades that I already own. So I was hunting around in my makeup collection and I came across two palettes, the Morphe and James Charles palette, and also the colored Raine Vivid Pigments palette. Originally, I was hoping to only use this palette because there are so many beautiful colors in here, and already you can dupe a lot of the shades from the Anastasia Beverly Hills and Alyssa Edwards palette with this palette right here. However, I am going to work later and I want to make sure that I don't have a lot of staining on my eyelids, and I have noticed that the James Charles and Morphe palette, for some reason, these colors and this color don't stain my eyelids that much at all. So I'm basically going to be working with this, and like usual, I have been doing this a lot lately. I'm going to be taking a small brush and I'm just going to be picking up a highlight shade. I'm choosing this one right here. And it is similar to, I think, one of the shades in the palette. I'll put the palette on the screen right here during certain portions of the video. And I'll basically show you which color I'm trying to dupe from my own collection, if that makes any sense. I did a similar thing the other day for my ColourPop, what was that palette called? I forget what that palette was called, but I did a similar video like this with like the red sort of like pinky tone palette the ColourPop came out with like literally just this past week. I've been doing a lot of these types of videos lately where I just basically take inspiration from like new palettes, and I basically do these types of videos where I do a makeup look inspired by the color story without actually buying the palette, and apparently that kind of video has been very well liked or very well received. Well, mixed reviews, but for the most part, I think a lot of people have been really liking these types of videos, so I'm just going to keep doing them. I'll be going in with a flat brush, and I'll be picking up this color called Neo Blue. This will be going all over the lid. I'm just going to try and do my best to pack it on the lid using a flat brush. So now I'm going to go in with a fluffier brush, and this is filled with a little bit of blue eyeshadow. Please don't judge me. And I'm going to be going in with the same blue, this one right here. And I'm just going to use this to sort of like diffuse that blue in my crease. We are going to be going in with another shade in my crease, but I still do want to make sure that I have some diffusion going on, if that makes any sense. What's left? Now what's going to happen is I'm going to take a mixture of these two shades right here. I think I'm going to mix a little bit more of the lighter shade though than the darker shade. And this concoction is going to go into the outer corner of my eye look. No, I don't want to waste what's left. And on we'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go through the wastelands, through the... I'm sort of working to apply this purple into my outer corner, but I decided to kind of extend it into like a soft wing, and I also decided to apply some of the purple eyeshadow into my crease as well. However, for my inner crease, I definitely want to go in with like a hot pink, much like one of the shades in the palette, and I think I'm going to dip into this color right here. I'm just going to coat the brush in it, and this is going to go into my inner crease. I think to deepen my outer corner even more, I'm going to be going in with this color right here. And now I'm going to go ahead and do my face makeup. Now, I actually, funny story, I'm going to be using, by the way, the Cover FX Natural Finish Oil-Free Foundation. I haven't used this in a while, so I literally do not know how this will turn out. But I am getting ready to do like a foundation declutter video, and I want to make sure that I'm trying all the formulas that I have like several times, so I can give you guys like a good informative declutter, if that makes any sense. But basically, yesterday at work, if you guys don't know, I work in childcare, but we had like this pie in the face thing, where we basically had whipped cream on plates, and the kids were supposed to pie us in the face, like just put the whipped cream in our faces, basically just like throw the whipped cream on the plate and have it land on our heads. And by our heads, I mean the staff's heads. So I had whipped cream covering my face. And now I believe that every single pore on my face is officially clogged. But I will say that I definitely feel like I was probably the most prepared out of my coworkers, because I showed up to work, I kid you not, with a hairnet and goggles. I had goggles, and I basically was like, I'm gonna have a trash bag all over my, like I'm gonna cover myself with the trash bag so I don't get that much whipped cream on my clothing. And I put on my goggles, I had on my hairnet. The kids were like, why are you wearing that? I said, because I don't want your whipped cream getting into my eyes, thank you very much. And that was an interesting experience. But I will say, because of the goggles, I had a much more pleasant experience than most of my coworkers. So that's good. But as a result, my pores are now clogged, and I feel like I have like disgusting acne about to erupt on my face. Which brush do I want to use? I want to go in with this like stiffer brush. This actually is a brush that came from an Anastasia Beverly Hills palette, and I want to dip in to this color right here. This is like a really pretty like pinkish, sort of like purplish color. It reminds me of one of the shades in the Alyssa Edwards palette, which is why I'm going to be using it in my lower lash line. Now what's going to happen is I'm going to take a tiny detail brush. I'm going to dip in to this shade right here, this yellow shade, which happens to be called Lemon Drop from the color Drain palette. This is, again, very similar to one of the yellows in the palette. I actually am curious, I do have to say, I'm very curious to see what Anastasia Beverly Hills' take is on a yellow formula, because I want to see what people think of the yellow, because I don't think Anastasia Beverly Hills has ever come out with a yellow that looks quite like this. So I'm curious, is it good? Is it bad? I would like to know. This is the part where I put on mascara. It's a pretty boring part of the video. Just letting all know. Now I'm going to quickly do my face makeup. For my highlight, I have the Tarte Amazonian Clay Highlighter, and this is in the shade Exposed. Okay, by the way, I feel like I haven't really talked about like what I think of Alyssa Edwards or like just anything about her really in this video, which I feel like is a terrible thing considering that she is basically collaborating with Anastasia on this palette. But I will say that I think personally, I think that Alyssa Edwards is probably one of my favorite drag queens, if not my favorite drag queen. And I will say that I do not necessarily know a lot of drag queens. I mean, I know the really big ones, and that's it. However, I don't really watch RuPaul's Drag Race, but then again, I don't really watch any TV at all. And I'm not like I said, very well versed in the queens and all that, but I will say that from what I can tell, like from what I have seen, but I will say that, yes, I think Alyssa Edwards is my favorite that I've seen by far. Side note though, I'm just going to apply my false lashes really quickly and I'll be right back. I think one of the reasons I like Alyssa Edwards so much, and yes, I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills contour kit. I haven't used this in such a long time. I think one of the reasons I like her so much is because she is just so flamboyantly and unapologetically Texan. And I think that's really interesting, especially since I live in Texas. And I think that Alyssa Edwards literally lives in Mesquite. I think she said that on like an interview or something. But she lives in Mesquite, and the city where I live in is literally just a stone's throw away from Mesquite. And I feel so close to Alyssa Edwards because I'm literally so close to her, like geographically, which is not something I can say pretty often when it comes to celebrities in general, because usually celebrities may come from Texas, but they definitely do not necessarily live in Texas. So it is really nice to say that, hey, yeah, I live right by Alyssa Edwards, which is like a creepy thing to say, but like I love her so much. She's so funny and I love her. So anyway, Alyssa Edwards, I actually did see her perform. I mean, not perform because I missed that. I was literally going to the club where she was going to perform on the same night that she was going to perform, and I thought I was gonna see. My one sadness though is that I actually have never seen her do a show. I was going to the same club that she was going to be performing in one night. It's like this really cool club here in Dallas where they let people, even if you are like 18 years old, you can go in and it's totally okay. I mean, you have to like have like an X on your hand, but yeah, like me and my friends were like 18, 19-ish, so we were able to go in that night, and I was really excited because we were going to see her perform. Like, I mean, we didn't go to the club to see her perform specifically, but I found out that she was going to be performing at this club, and I was so excited. However, we missed her by like 2 hours, and that was really sad. But it was fine because I think later I did see her at the Pride Parade in Dallas. There was like this Pride Parade, and me and my friends, we've gone for 2 years straight, and it's kind of becoming a little bit of a tradition, and I saw her then, and that was really exciting because she looked right at me, and I was taking a picture of her on my camera, and my camera's kind of big, so that's probably why she was looking right at me, but I was like, I love you so much, you're so pretty, and you're so gorgeous, and you're so unabashedly beautiful. I am really falling in love with this look, which is good. So I'm going to be doing my lower lash mascara really quickly because, again, this is such a boring part of my makeup, honestly. Who gets excited by lower lash mascara? I have no idea. I think today I definitely 100% want to go in with a hot pink lip. I'm going to be using this one from Milani. This is number 15, Hot Pink Rage. And this is like this most beautiful, like, matte hot pink shade. I love it. Fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And on
towards the sun rays, and on we'll go.
Okay, so I'm looking at this look, and I actually do like this look a lot better with a matte lip, I think. So I'm just gonna leave it the way it is. I'm not gonna put any gloss on top. But I think that pretty much concludes this entire makeup look. I, for one, love it, and I think that it looks so beautiful. And I just feel like this color scheme is so much fun, and it's just so wonderful to draw inspiration from something like this palette right here. Sorry, my hands are so dirty, but this is just such a beautiful palette. It's so vivid and so fun and so gorgeous, and I'm so very happy that Anastasia Beverly Hills chose to collaborate with somebody like Alyssa Edwards, who knows how to basically put together a color scheme that is altogether so vivid and so fun and so beautiful. I love this palette. I, of course, am not going to be getting it because I'm on my no-buy, but I love how I was able to just take a few bits of inspiration from this palette and use this beautiful color scheme to inspire me to create this makeup look right here. But yeah, that's pretty much the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed this look and found this video interesting, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.